Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and today I want to talk to you about tense moments in video games, about moments that made us go, oh god damn, it's gotten real in here. And you know what, video games at their core are kind of made of these moments, of tense times where you're just gripping your controller in sweaty frustration going, come on, I can make it, I can do it, or other times that you've been playing Cooking Mama, I don't know. So what I thought I'd do today is grab some of these moments that made us clench our teeth so tightly we almost fractured them, and that we can maybe chill out together by looking at moments that ramped our heart rates right up into the red line. So let's get on with it. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 exact moments that got real in great video games. Hey everyone, Jules here, and just before we kick things off today, I just want to give a big shout out to today's list sponsors, Raid Shadow Legends. Now I know, you have heard a lot about this game. People are talking about it everywhere you look. With that in mind, I brought in somebody who's never heard or played the game, and that's my cat Sagan. You excited? Yeah, I think he is. This thing has got badass champions, tough bosses, millions of players. You can play it on your mobile phone or PC. You can choose from 16 different factions. I've chosen to go for the Undead Hordes because, well, I kind of look like a skeleton. I'm very, very pale. The graphics look amazing. The reviews for this game speak for themselves. And to be honest, it's one of the very few mobile games that I've actually had fun playing outside of being asked to do these ads for it. The best part is that you can team up with other people to form or join a clan and then take on massive raid bosses for huge rewards. And if that's not your cup of tea and you don't like a bit of jolly cooperation, then why not take on other players in the PvP arena battles? In fact, Raid Shadow Legends has got so much content, they've even added in tons of new stuff, like the Artifact Forge, that means that you can save time and craft artifacts daily, and it's got a whole advanced quest system as well that's got amazing rewards. But best of all, they're even working on a new feature called the Doom Tower. And if anything is going to get you interested in this game, then the words Doom Tower most definitely are it. But there is, of course, more. If you go to the video description and click on the special links, and if you are a new player, you will get 100,000 silver and a free champion straight away. All of this glorious treasure will be waiting for you right when you log into the game. And that's Raid. If you didn't know, now you know. Enjoy playing, I'll see you on there, and let's get on with this list. Number 10, Need for Speed Carbon, Canyon Drift. As the name might suggest, Need for Speed doesn't exactly take things slow, and during the Canyon Drift race, the speed of the entire game seems to triple compared to that with the rest of the title. You hurl downhill, sliding, revving, blurring, burning, managing the power bar, and just maybe experiencing a bit of tunnel vision as the rest of the world melts entirely away. Now, elsewhere in this title, you engage in street races and cop chases, but nowhere else will you get the same sense of unrelenting momentum as you do here, and stringing drifts together to keep your score ascending while the track's completion gauge just ticks upwards is enough to give you a heart attack. When your bumper scrapes and sparks against steel barriers and rocks, well, these are especially tense moments, as they don't necessarily guarantee that your streak will break, but will force you to recalibrate your position in the blink of an eye. And if that eye isn't on the road, then it's lights out for all involved. Number 9, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Shinobi Hunter ENSHIN of MISEN. Sekiro is such a beautiful game. It sheds that Dark Souls clone tag that it unfortunately got in glorious fashion because it focuses on pressuring your opponent at every turn and parrying all of their attacks like a true master of the sword. This is a title that never relents in its approach to action or difficulty, but at least the game kind of eases you in slightly with enemies that just wander over like idiots to be felled by your blade, and they're not so tightly packed at the start so as to ruin your life in short fashion. However, then this happens. The brick wall behind the, smaller brick wall that is the Shinobi Hunter in the Hirata Estates. His white coverings and long spear immediately notify you that this is a fellow that you are going to want to pay close attention to, if that is that you can survive the opening few strikes of his, which poke through your defenses and then place you on the back foot immediately. And worse still, the bastard will then level out a death blow that, while it is possible to counter, will have you screaming at the TV more often than not. He's not even a fully fledged boss, but thanks to the environment and relentlessness of his attacks, it bloody well feels like one. Number 8, Crash Bandicoot, Fumbling in the Dark. A level where time and light limitations are unfairly imposed and finding every box becomes a lengthy chore, Fumbling in the Dark builds on the concepts first proposed in Lights Out, which is found earlier in the game, in which you need to keep pace with an illuminated aku-aku or risk abandonment in the stone corridors of a creepy castle where floating platforms fall from beneath your feet and huge axes swing from the ceiling. And somehow, this second level is even more challenging. If you want to smash every box for that scrumptious gem or want to try the time trial relics, then your playthroughs might become increasingly dark and panicked, and you may end up getting lucky and finishing this one in the pitch black, but most of the time you'll be falling to your death. This is a true challenge from start to finish, and while many would put the high road on this list, side note, the high road, at least you could bloody well see where you were goddamn going. Number 7. Inside, Water Girl. From the first minutes of Inside, when your nameless character scrambles through grey dilapidation and black forests, there's a sense of pure unease in this game. As faceless guards with flashlights begin to chase and shoot at you, all manner of peculiarities then begin to unfold, resulting in a truly one-of-a-kind experience. The creepiness and difficulty definitely spike in this stylish platformer when you have to play the most intense game of statues that you can possibly imagine while being underwater, and against a black cloud of a creature that wants to devour you before you can open the door to the next section. Essentially, this is a timed puzzle but dressed up in a, well, truly macabre manner, and will make you feel like you're gasping for air each time that you inch closer to escape against this horrible mass. Number 6. Gears of War, the Berserker. After building up a tolerance for duck and cover shootouts against the snarling Locust army in the opening quarter of the game, things are suddenly turned on their heads when you're faced with escaping a series of tight, snagging church corridors so you can reach the sunlight. But why is this all so panicked? Well, because, my friend, the Berserker is chasing you, a one-hit killer that smells fear and hears the tiniest of sound. Harnessed by two equally hideous Locust soldiers with thick chains, the Berserker is introduced with a cutscene that honestly belongs in a horror film, with a rapid succession of close-ups on its face and the panicked voice of Mission Control basically telling the player and Marcus Phoenix, okay, so you know that corpser from earlier on? Yeah, that was scary, but this? Well, this thing is f***ing terrifying. What follows is some of the most tightly directed chase action in the game, and a battle with a beast that is sure to leave a lasting impression. Number 5. BIOSHOCK, Big Daddy. The first installment of the BioShock series was as, and pun incoming, immersive, wink wink, as it was daunting. There are so many enemies that are just out for your blood. The Adam-hungry splicers that attack you on your entry into the underwater city of Rapture, and the security cameras that summon miniature machine gun helicopters, well, they're bad enough, but just you wait until you come face to face with the Big Daddy. Clearly, developers 2K Boston were incredibly proud of their Big Daddy enemy, seeing as they choreographed a cinematic set piece to introduce him with. With Atlas in your ear and a splicer bearing down on a little sister, the player can only watch through a wide pane of security glass as this hulking, metallic, drill-wielding Big Daddy crashes through the ceiling and proceeds to dismantle the offending splicer. In fact, he does so in such a way, with such furious ease, that I've not seen such a dispatch since Brock Lesnar debuted against Spike Dudley. Poor old Spike Dudley, we hardly knew ye. The player knows at this moment that they will eventually have to take on one of these Big Daddies, and that is an incredibly uncomfortable thought, to say the least. Number 4. Shadow of the Colossus, AVION. One could argue that in a game entirely consisting of boss battles, that any one of the 16 Colossi could reasonably qualify for this list. I mean, who can forget the first Colossi, Valus, and how upon his emergence the game camera just continued to pan up and up and up. It made the thought of defeating a foe of such gargantuan proportions seem entirely unfeasible. Quickly, or eventually, as the case may be, you will come to comprehend the mechanics that allow Wanda to clamber up the beast and stab his glowing pressure points until his black lifeblood sprays all out and he tumbles to the ground. And the next 3 Colossi vary in size and speed of their movements, but it isn't until you reach the 5th boss that you come to understand the full scope of this wonderful game. Avion, the bird Colossus. It soars above the dilapidated cathedral that you stand in, circling a wide lake before perching on a mammoth stone pillar in the middle of the water. There it waits, serenely, but somehow threatening, asking you to approach. Just jumping into the water to swim up to this thing makes you feel entirely vulnerable, and once you begin to mount it, you better bloody hope you've got it right, because your blunders with the grip mechanic will send you tumbling down into the water again and again. It's a definite step up in difficulty and a moment where your eyes are pulled even wider by what you're actually witnessing. Number 3. Dying Light, Nightmare Volatile. After airdropping into a quarantined city filled with zombies and a desperate human populace, one may kind of expect what type of ghastly jump scare horrors that reasonably follow. In fact, it might not even take you that long before the standard issue zombies that meander the deserted streets and charge you only when you pass by become kind of your favourite bedtime toy, at least when compared to the nightmare volatiles. As most nightmares do, these, well, cuddly fellows only emerge at night. On the first ENSHIN drop, you, playing as protagonist Crane, dickishly burn the antidote to establish contact with the crime lord / terrorist known as Raze, who's operating inside the abandoned city limits with impunity. As the orange sky fades to total blackness and the alarm on your watch begins to beep, you peek through a crack between two metal sheets and then finally see this. With split-jawed fangs reminiscent of Nomak and Blade 2 and bulging fleshless muscles, these volatiles pursue you with the kind of relentless speed that reduces you to a button-bashing, sweaty mess. And you may, as I definitely did, spend much of your time either waiting out or sleeping through the nighttime periods where possible just to avoid these horrifying beasts. Number 2. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, The Beast of White Orchard. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a game teeming with enemies of all shapes, sizes, abilities, and dispositions, and Big G is definitely equipped with a suitably dexterous range of abilities and tools to dispose them. As you introduce yourself to the rules of this world in the opening area of White Orchard, you will come across an assortment of challenges depending on where you chose to explore, and you can fight or run as you wish. Eventually, you'll come across a contract to exterminate a griffin terrorizing a village, and this is actually a contract that you must fulfill to advance the game, so are forced to stand against a rather terrible winged beast and then figure out how to overcome it. You will conquer this squawking menace by combining your potions with your signs and patiently dodging and stabbing, and while it does act as a kind of basic tutorial for later in the game, it actually is a terrifying prospect because not only is this beast quite intimidating to begin with, but it actually hints that what is in store is going to be much, much harder. And number 1, Jet Li Rise to Honor, Fei and Hung. Rise to Honor is, in effect, a film in game's clothing. Much like The Warriors that came out the following year, this PS2 classic draws heavily from and builds upon famous cinematic scenes and tropes. Controlling a virtual Jet Li, you master a rather intuitive combat system which enables you to do all of the things that you would expect from such a martial arts hero, namely pummeling, dodging, blocking, countering, sweeping, and flying through the air while shooting. It's rather glorious fun. And the first boss battle in this game begins in pursuit of a pony-tailed villain who, in true Hong Kong action style, duplicitously lures you into a rooftop battle. You fly onto the roof, striking a Batman-esque pose, only to have a duplicate of your prey emerge from nowhere. Shock horror, it's a trap. And now the twins Fei and Hung proceed to move in mirror fashion, one fly kicking you in the back of the head as you try to break down the other. Now, it's not the most difficult task to get a handle on in this game, but when you realize that your trouble has indeed just doubled, it's an eye-rolling, forehead-slapping, oh moment. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 exact moments that got real in great video games. I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. If you want to chat to me further, you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, where I stream every Wednesday and Sunday. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. We detailed today about exact moments that got real in great video games. So you know what, my friend? I'm about to get real with you right now, because I hope that you are doing well. I know at the time of the recording that there's a lot of trials and tribulations that are going on, so I hope that you're able to keep your head and heart healthy and express love for yourself and neighbor, because you know what? You both deserve it. Everyone in this world deserves love, happiness, and success. But if you're struggling with those tenets, then please do not worry, because you're not alone. That's a really important thing to remember. Friends, family, and professionals in the support industry, these people care about you and want you to do well. So don't forget that you've got those resources at your disposal. Now go out there and absolutely smash it, you big ledge. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.